It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. You know the drill. I'm senior meteorologist Wesley Williams. I think you might know that by now, but if you don't, welcome to you new viewers. This is what we're talking about today. We've got to give you the first alert because there's a lot going on in the weather, a lot of activity actually in the tropics in the Atlantic. And while the tropics won't directly impact us on the Gulf Coast, there's a reason why that is. And it's all tied into this cool front that we've been tracking this week. So let's take you right to the map. And we're tracking the cool front, noticing that there's showers and storms popping up on the map at times on Wednesday, at times on Wednesday night, and at times on Thursday. And then the front sweeps through our coast and drier air comes in behind it. I want you to remember that. Remember this cool front. We are going to circle back to it because it involves a relation to the tropics, believe it or not. Now, speaking of the tropics, so far this season, the season has made it to the G name, Gabrielle. The next two names available are Umberto and Imelda. And as we take a look at this map, there are two areas that have a high chance to become a depression or storm. The one on the right could become a depression or storm today or tomorrow. So in short order, we could be dealing with a new name system somewhere in the Atlantic. You can also see the track of Gabrielle on the top there, and you'll notice that it is moving away off to the east-northeast pretty quickly at 25 miles an hour. So Gabrielle, not a concern for our part of the map. But we are going to watch these other two areas and take a look at the futurecast with them. You do have on the right, that's Invest 93L. That's the one that could develop here either today or tomorrow into the next name system. Then you got this one on the left, which might not have a high chance to develop today or tomorrow, but then after that, once we get toward Friday and the weekend, somewhere in this zone, it could become a depression or storm. So sometimes when you have two systems located close to one another, they can actually steer each other around each other. There's a buzzword that always goes around anytime we see something like this possibly happening. It's called the Fujiwara effect, named after a scientist, Dr. Fujiwara, who came up with a theory about how storms can steer one another when they are located in close proximity to one another. Now, as we put this futurecast into motion, again, there's two zones to watch, one on the right where this is a possible system developing, and one on the left where this possible system gets there. And as we go to Thursday, what do we find? We find our system on the right, maybe it's a depression or storm by now. We find our system on the left still kind of struggling somewhere near Puerto Rico, maybe somewhere near Hispaniola, depending on exactly where that circulation is. And as we go to Friday, our system on the right still appears to be fairly well developed. Maybe it's a depression or storm by then. System on the left, again, still hard to kind of find it on the map. Maybe it's located here near Hispaniola. It's in that zone, though, where it could become a depression or storm at some point on Friday at that point. And then we go to Friday evening, Friday night. We still see the system on the right located about here. System on the left, based on the winds, could be located about here to the north of Hispaniola. Now, we zoom out, and remember that cool front that I said we will circle back to? Whoop, there it is, right there along the Gulf Coast. And that is going to be the key to steering any tropical weather away from us on the Gulf Coast. That's why no matter if there's one system, two systems, 100 systems sitting out there near the Bahamas, near the northern edge of the Caribbean Sea, it's all going to be steered away from us because you've got some pretty strong high pressure and a front that has winds coming down, which is going to help to steer weather away from the Gulf and actually steer it basically offshore. What is the reason why these two disturbances initially start and then turn to the north and east is you actually have a high pressure situated out here, and so they are being steered around the edge of that high pressure. But while that high pressure is steering them, you know, toward the north like that, you do have this cool front that's kind of coming down like this, and so that's kind of blocking them from coming toward the Gulf as you have all of that strong wind shear along the Gulf. So that's good news there. We don't have to worry about that. We'll show you the computer models. I've got 93L with some pink line spaghetti models and 94L with some purple spaghetti there. Either way, all of the spaghetti points away from the Gulf Coast. None of it points toward the Gulf Coast, and so that continues with our high confidence that this pattern in place with the cool front coming in will help to steer any tropical weather away from us. It's going to be steered to the north. Some of the weather might get close to the East Coast, but as far as the Gulf Coast is concerned, we're not. So there's no local concerns over the next 5 to 7 days as Gabrielle heads out to sea and 2 more systems may form in the Atlantic. Now, of course, this is still the hurricane season, so it's no surprise that we're seeing activity. Hurricane season does not end until November 30th. Now, about that cool front, right? We got to talk about our local weather. Even though we're not experiencing any tropical impacts, we are going to experience some weather impacts. You know, this thing, I hear urban legend, once foretold, when water could fall from the sky. Have you ever heard of this? It's called rain, I think I've been told, and I think we have a better chance of that as we head into the next 48 hours. Now, for some of you, it is happening now, and you might be shocked. I mean, it is a strange and rare phenomenon that indeed water can fall from the sky, and it is happening in southern Jackson County right now. A big old downpour on Highway 90 in Goshen on the way to Gulf Park Estates. Well, the shower's actually moving away from Gulf Park Estates, moving across moving across Goshen Van Cleve Road right now. And, you know, there might be an MDOT cam there. I'm curious to see if we can pop that up for you. Let's see what happens if I open the MDOT site. Bear with me while we see if we can get a visual on this particular thunderstorm. Well, we'll call it a downpour. And let's go down to southern. I'll let you see what I'm doing here. Let's see if I can pull up my computer screen. There you go. And there you go. So we're on the MDOT website, and we're trying to get to, drats. Let's see, do we have, we do, Goshen Van Cleve Road. And there you go, bada bing, bada boom. Let's full screen it. And ground truth, baby. You have the rain. Look at that. It's so weird to see. It's raining right now. It's like this kind of stuff, if I told you it were raining, you wouldn't believe me. But now you have to because you can see it. So seeing is believing. It is raining this morning in Goshen. We do have a 20% chance for rain this morning. So that's why you don't see the whole map covered in rain because, well, not everyone is going to see it. But there are some places that could get rained on. Most of the rain this morning has been primarily picking on Jackson County. And so we'll go from that 20% chance for rain this morning to a higher chance for rain this afternoon and tonight and tomorrow. And so that's what we'll be tracking for you. Some increasing rain chances as we get into the next 36 to 48 hours. If you're not getting the rain, because these chances are not 100%, so I'm not going to be shocked if 1 or 2 spots misses out, 1 or 2 counties misses out on the rain as we go to today and tomorrow. So anywhere that doesn't get rained on, it's going to be humid with above normal temperatures. But then the cool front arrives tomorrow night, and that's going to unlock drier, lower humidity for us Friday into the weekend. We just showed this a minute ago. I'll just refresh your memory in case you were not watching live earlier. This is a look at the showers and storms that are going to be in our area at times today, at times tonight, at times tomorrow. But then by the time we go to Friday, the front moves offshore, and that allows for drier weather to settle in. Now let's take a more zoomed in, detailed look at Futurecast. First of all, womp womp, model fail. It is not seeing the rain that is happening this morning over southern Jackson County. So sometimes models can initialize poorly, which is why I don't always put too much reliability into their exact placement and exact timing. But look, a lot of y'all love Futurecast. I've been contacted before by viewers who say, show me that Futurecast. I want to see the Futurecast. So here you go with the Futurecast, even though clearly it doesn't even have a good grasp on what's happening now. But we'll see if we can trust on what it will do in the future. And I am in agreement with this morning's representation on the map, even though there's not a lot of rain. There might be one or two spots with some isolated showers. Now in the afternoon, we begin to see the model showing an increase of rain activity. And I want you to watch this zone here in coastal Mississippi. There's Highway 49 and places to the west of it. So that's all of Pearl River County. That's all of Hancock County and western portions of Stone and Harrison counties, including Long Beach and Pass Christian. That's where, as we press play on this between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., wow, we see that increase in rain activity. So if you have an evening drive planned in Poplarville, Picayune, Diamond Head, The Kill, Bay St. Louis, Waveland, Pass Christian, Long Beach, DeLille, Dido, maybe near Saussure, near Perkinston, near Wiggins, and near Western Gulfport. Those are all places, I guess you could also say near Western Lyman and near Western Orange Grove. Those are all places that could feature some rain impacting the ride home from work, the ride home from school later today. So that's something to watch out for. Some of those thunderstorms could, like the one that's happening now. Look, I'll remind you, this is what is looking like on the road right now as of 9 a.m. in Gaucher on Highway 90. It is raining, and it's not raining lightly. That rain is coming down at a pretty good clip. You can tell it's not extreme, though. We don't see too many people driving with their flashers on, their flashing lights, flashing headlights on. So perhaps the rain not reaching an extremely dangerous level, but it is certainly going to disrupt your normal plans. And I think we could see the roads look like that in the circled area for the ride home later today. Now, it's going to be a quick change because once the sun goes down around 7 p.m., all of that rain is going to spread eastward so that even more places can see it. So by the time we go to tonight, the rain chances are going to go up. Today's rain chance 30 to 50%. And tonight it goes up to 40 to 60%. And we're seeing the rain become more widespread overnight into Thursday morning. Some of the thunderstorms that we get out of this could be on the strong side. And you're looking at tomorrow morning, look at these couple of clusters of thunderstorms. One of them very close to Mobile, another one very close to Wiggins, Lucedale, Saussure, Picayune, Waveland, Bay St. Louis. So we'll have these kind of strong clusters of thunderstorms hanging out on Thursday morning that could impact the morning drive tomorrow for many places. So, you know, I want to go back to this because it's action-packed that we've got cars on the road during my live broadcast driving through rain, and maybe we're seeing the future right now. As you look at this, that's what the road could look like tomorrow morning for the morning drive across parts of South Mississippi as we see that 50 to 70% chance for rain on Thursday morning. Maybe we catch a little break in some places, but maybe new thunderstorms develop Thursday afternoon. We talked about this during yesterday's Waking Up with Wesley, how we could see another round, a second round of storms for the afternoon and evening on Thursday because the cold front is not completely passed until Thursday night. Now, once we get to Thursday night, that's when the front passes, and that's going to kick away all of the rain, kick away all the clouds, and allow for lower humidity to move into the area by that point in time. Now, you might have noticed we talked about strong thunderstorms. What do we mean by that? Let me give you a little thunderstorm lesson here, a refresher. So first of all, the time frame for us to see thunderstorms will be mainly from anytime beginning this afternoon all the way through the entirety of tomorrow. It's not going to rain continuously during every hour of that time frame, every minute of that time frame, but instead on and off across parts of our area. So any thunderstorm by definition can produce lightning, and thunder, any storm by definition can produce heavy downpours. That's your general garden variety thunderstorm. And we're going to see that in some parts of South Mississippi. But in a few places, maybe we can get some strong thunderstorms. Those are thunderstorms that are stronger and capable of more frequent lightning, capable of a bit heavier rain, and also can spit out some gusty winds, maybe some small hail. Hail that's very disruptive. Anytime hail falls on your rooftop, you are disrupted and you will notice that. But is it destructive? Not all the time. If it's small hail, hail smaller than the size of a quarter, it's usually not going to cause damage. Now, when you get into this bottom category, severe thunderstorms, the ones that get alerts like severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, that's when you get into destructive type weather. The winds that are so strong that they cause damage. The hail that is so big, bigger than the size of a quarter, that it's going to cause damage. The tornadoes, any tornado, even a weak one, can cause damage and can be dangerous. All of that very dangerous weather. We're not expecting those types of thunderstorms. We're not expecting severe thunderstorms out of this. You know, maybe one goes rogue and gets into severe threshold. I hope not. The main expectation is for them to either be general garden variety or maybe just a little bit stronger. So here's a look at those risks that we'll be monitoring at any point beginning this afternoon and continuing into Thursday. And we could see the potential for flooding rain, but that's a low probability. But some places, if you get more than an inch of rain, there could be some isolated street flooding. You know, you look back at this Gaucher Highway 90, it's not flooding there, but you know, the rain was coming down pretty heavy. It's actually moving to the east of where this camera is located, so that's why the visibility there is improving right now, as that one spot, Highway 90 and 57, starts to see the rain decrease in intensity. We're also going to watch for the low probability of gusty winds. Those could top 40 miles per hour. Once you go over 40 miles an hour, maybe a few like weak little twigs off of a tree could come down. Really small branches off of a tree could come down. You usually don't see like whole limbs from a tree start to find danger from those until you get to the other category, the winds around 60 miles an hour. And we're probably not going to see the winds that strong with any of these thunderstorms. Like I said, as far as hail's concerned, maybe we get some small hail. But as far as hail big enough to cause damage, not expected. And as far as tornadoes, again, not really expected in South Mississippi, in our 6 southernmost counties from this particular round of thunderstorms. Now we take you to the 7-day, and there's some change coming. So if you've not been a fan of this muggy air, we are going to see lower humidity eventually get here by the time we get to Friday. We'll have a drier feel in the air, and that is likely going to continue into the upcoming weekend. The first weekend of fall will likely feature a more pleasant feel in the air with cooler mornings and some pretty warm afternoons, but at least the humidity will be lower. I need you to look at those numbers at the bottom of the screen. So Friday morning will be our first cooler morning with 60s. And Saturday morning may be even cooler than Friday morning. Sunday morning may be even cooler than Saturday morning. These are numbers on the coast. If you want, I can take a look at some of the numbers that are not just on the coast, but inland as well. So let's take a look at that over the next 4 mornings. So tomorrow morning for Thursday, when we have rain showers and storms nearby, it's still going to be mild, 70s. But by the time we get to Friday, you're looking at mid to upper 60s. So it's cooler. It's not like a blast of cold air or anything, but at least it's comfortably cool. Now, you go to Saturday morning, and a place that is inland like Wiggins, a place that is inland like the Kiln, perhaps Picayune and Poplarville, Lucedale, Van Cleve, Saussure. Those are places that could drop into the lower 60s, and they could do that again on Sunday morning. Places on the coast, south of I-10, you might get to the middle 60s on Saturday and Sunday. So here's Saturday. You know, you got, it says basically 63 to 66, and we can take a look at Saturday's map. I believe this is Saturday morning's map. Yeah, so 63 to 66 looks about like this, where most numbers fall within that range. And you've got the coolest temperatures generally to the north of I-10. Some of them might get down closer to the coast. The warmest temperatures will be wherever there's more water. You got two bays, right? The body of water that sits near Bay St. Louis, as well as the one that sits near Biloxi Ocean Springs, Biloxi Back Bay. And so when you're near those, the water is warm, and it can be hard for coastal areas to cool off as efficiently overnight with that warm water. So that's why you see the temperature for Biloxi, parts of Biloxi might only get down to 68. Parts of Bay St. Louis might also only get down to 68. And that goes for anywhere near the shoreline of those areas. But other than that, it's going to be some pretty cool weather. If you have any fall festivities, outdoor activities, events for the weekend, the first weekend of fall, looking like A+, picture perfect conditions for our local area. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I'll leave you with this rainy Wednesday morning view in parts of Jackson County. And yeah, time to dust the cobwebs off of those umbrellas, as we might use them at some point today and tomorrow. See you next time. Until then, take care and try your best to stay dry.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.